Welcome to Engage Math, Pre-Algebra Lesson 13, Problem 8, where we are doing conversions, and this time we don't have the hints that we had in problem number 7, but we can still use a calculator. All right, so our goal is to convert 50 miles per hour, which I already wrote as a ratio, and we are going to convert it to miles per second. So it's okay for us to keep the miles because we want miles in our final answer, but we don't want hours. So I know I want to cancel the hours. And because we want it to have seconds in our final answer, I'm going to put a 1 up here for the 1 hour. And then down here, I'm going to put what 1 hour is equal to. Now, we could do it as two conversions. So one thing we could do is we could start with 60 minutes. You could also convert, get the equivalent of 1 hour in seconds, which, by the way, would be 3,600 seconds. But let's do it as two different steps. Okay, so now we can tell that the hours cancel, but we want to convert minutes to seconds. So I'm going to say 1 minute up here. Let's make that look a little bit more like an M. So 1 minute, and we know 1 minute is 60 seconds. Okay, now in a different color, I'm going to show you how everything's canceling. The hours cancel because that's a value of 1 if hours are in the numerator and denominator. The minutes cancel because that's a value of 1 because it's in the numerator and denominator. So now what we basically have is 50 miles, and we have 60 times 60 seconds. The only thing that's left as far as the units is miles in the numerator and seconds in the denominator. So one thing we could do is we could write it as 50 over 3,600, and that would be miles. So I'm going to kind of say miles per second. However, 50 over 3,600, that's a conversion I'd like you to be able to do by hand, but you can also use the calculator. It's 1 over 72 miles per second, which means every second you go 1/72 of a mile. All right, let's look at the next one. So for the next problem, I already set it up as 34 meters over 1 second. And one thing you have to know is that 1,000 meters is equal to a kilometer. So we are going to try and convert seconds. Let's get rid of the meters first and turn it into kilometers. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to put meters in the denominator, so it canceled with the meters in the numerator. And what we know is we have to multiply by 1, so I'm going to put 1,000, that's not where the 1,000 goes, in the wrong place. The 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer, okay? We know that from what's given as our hint. All right, so right away we can tell the meters cancel, but we want it to be in kilometers per hour, not per second. So this time I'm going to do two conversions at once. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to consider the seconds. I know from what we've done before that 3,600 seconds is equal to 1 hour. And you could do the math on that, and we could do it as two different conversions, but I want you to see if we already know from the previous problem that 3,600 seconds is 1 hour, we can just go right away and use that as our value of 1 that we're multiplying by. And right away now, we can kind of cancel because the seconds here is going to cancel with the seconds there. The meters is going to cancel with the meters. And we now have 3,400. I'm just going to circle the things that are left. 3,400. And then we have 3,600. Those two get multiplied together and then divided by 1,000. So our final answer should be 122 and 4/10. And this is now in kilometers, the only unit left in the numerator, over hours, the only unit left in the denominator. And that will be our final answer. Thanks for joining us here today at Engage Math.